All right, is my mic working? Yes, it is. Hearing myself in the background there. All right. So, there we go. Yeah, I probably should have checked that before I hit the start streaming button, but that's all right. Because we are not here to make friends. Actually, that's not true. It's like actually kind of the whole reason we're here. Okay. Oh. Yeah, that'll get me taken down. Yeah, so we haven't played this game in a minute, but I think I finally found the motivation to actually finish this game finally, but first things first, this is not where we left off, so just gonna edit that group real quick. Trying a new camera angle yet again. Yes, I've been... No. There we go. Yeah, we've been using Giant Shield Lady. Isara's nice. I have to get used to... I prepped this game a little bit. I went and did some little side quests in my free time. Will you follow me all the way to the campground? That's a great question.
I hate camping out.
And before we talked, we always grab these 3 wheat. So, how's everyone been? Same old, same usual.
Aw, who's a good boy? Wait, why am I petting you?
As usual, we just flip through the skits, make sure we didn't miss anything. Doesn't look like it. I want the one that heals us. That one's nice. We don't have... And we don't have enough... we have enough to do it. Yeah, we just won't make it with Shion, and then we can bond with someone for a little bit. Not that that really matters, like, in this game. At least the way it works.
Don't sweat it. It was fun hearing you reminisce about the good old days.
Come on, you don't have to pretend with me. I know I can tend to go on sometimes when it comes to my brother.
You said it, not me. Anyway, I don't think it's something for you to be embarrassed about.
Hey, Alphen. When you were a kid, was there ever a time when you had to bury someone younger than you?
Oh, all the time. I was a
It's
slave.
hard to say. I'm guessing that you have, though.
Yeah. During the previous crown contest with the Lord before Dohalim. Life back then was truly hell.
How cold
I think
on the delivery.
that's why I tried to ignore what Miguel was telling me for so long. Because I was afraid of going back to such a dark time. Of losing hope. I wanted to believe in our paradise so much that I doubted the one person I should have trusted most.
Yeah,
I
and
don't blame
now he's
Lord-
dead, so you have to
Blame
live with
Dohalim
that.
for that.
You should feel terrible
I
also.
simply didn't want to face facts. And I ended up trying to project my ideals onto everyone else.
She's telling the
It's
truth.
strange. Whenever you and Dohalim talk about Menancia, it's always like it's some big failure.
Actually, Alphen should chastise her
We're talking
now.
about fixing 300 years worth of damage here. Isn't it a bit optimistic to think it was all going to be resolved after only 5?
You might be right. Maybe it was a mistake when Menancia... No. When I decided to stop seeing the darkness in our society. I have to admit the truth. To myself, first of all.
Oh, I'm
I'll take
closer
watch
with
tonight.
Kisara.
It's okay.
Yeah, you better. What else am I paying you for? Well, actually, we're not paying them anything. So how
Before we
things
go,
been?
you
It's
guys
been
have everything?
good 4 or 5 days since I finished Romancing Saga. I do have plans to play the 3rd game, but the problem with that is, well... Do that one more time. Okay. The problem with that, I know absolutely nothing about... Yeah, there were a bunch of places to go here. And of course, there's no quick fast travel point back, I don't think. Because I would kind of... the game will probably bring us back here at some point. I want to see what's going on in Niez. That was mildly interesting, especially considering this game has been kind of bland up until now.
Finally. If only we could have flown with the wind to get here faster.
Yep, so last time we ended on Tales of Rise, we got to Niez and we saw this place was trashed. So we're gonna see what happened.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hootle?
Looks like our first owl is in here. No doors open. That goes somewhere. It's locked. I knew it.
What are those out in the valley?
It's the right way.
Windmills? They're huge.
They're most likely used to harvest wind astral energy, so they have to be big.
Huh. Wind. I wonder what element the Lord of Mahag-Sar is. Any guesses? Windmills. We've seen fire, water, and I guess earth so far. Alright, town square. I guess something's going on here.
All of you, stop right there. Don't move.
And why shouldn't I?
Surrounded.
Who are you? Where did you come from?
You first! Show yourself!
I'm the one asking the questions here. Don't try anything funny. One wrong move, and I guarantee we'll blow you away.
What are you...
My name is Alphen. I came here from Calaglia.
Alphen? The wielder of
Oh,
the blazing sword?
God, of course his reputation precedes him.
Famous, isn't he?
Oh no.
Here is my proof. Will that suffice? Or do I have to burn down one of those houses to make my point?
No need. I believe you. I'm Beifong of the Darkwings. Sorry for threatening to blow you away. We're still hunting down the remnants of the enemy forces, so everyone's more than a bit on edge right now. Please forgive me.
Yeah, this time.
Remaining? Wait, you mean you already took down the Lord of this realm?
That's right. We took her weapons and turned them right back on her.
Are you the Danon leader here in Niez?
Nah, I'm just one of the commanders. Deadeye's the one who runs the show. I'd be happy to take you to him. Just one problem.
He's gone.
The Renans. Seems the rumors you were running with them were true.
Glory to mankind.
You do understand, right? I mean, we only just liberated the city from their kind. Everyone's short on trust. And for good reason. Especially Deadeye. I think it'd be best if those two waited outside.
Not going to happen.
I don't think it's
I
a
like
good
how the
idea for
wing
us to
is
split up.
brushing up on
It's
Law.
too dangerous.
Then it's on your head, friend. Our base is that way.
Oh my god. The wing
You
is...
could have left me behind, you know.
This isn't just about you, Dohalim.
Ah, yes.
I guess even after you beat the Renans, your work's only really just begun, huh?
Yeah. This place seems like it's got a lot of issues to fix.
And I'm guessing we can't go here either. Nope. Almidra. Is that the name of the lord of this realm? I knew it was a I knew this lord was female. Almidra? Is that how you say it? I just burped and it tasted like dinner, and dinner was Chipotle. So it's pretty good. I haven't had Chipotle in... This is my first time in years, probably. Probably since like 2019 or 2020.
You're Elfin, are ya? Thought you'd be bigger. Huh. Guess the armor beefs you up a bit.
I have an angel wing protruding from my left side.
A lot of people talking, you know. But in this town, I call the shots. You play by my rules here. Just remember that. Gotta say, I didn't expect you to run with a gang of women and kids. Those other lords must have been real pushovers, huh?
Alfin cut his head off.
Seriously? Are you this rude to everyone you meet?
Don't interrupt me, you brat. Didn't your parents teach you any manners?
What, you?
For once, I agree with Law. Just take his head off.
How'd you pull that off?
We just swiped the Renan's explosives. And then we blasted them all.
Based on the eye patch, I'm gonna assume it was a
That's a pretty
coup d'etat.
bold approach. But how'd you manage to avoid hurting your own people?
I didn't, that's how. But the chance to take out a lord was worth the sacrifice.
And the Lord? What did this sacrifice earn you?
Unfortunately, we couldn't manage to finish her off. But now we've really got the girl on the run.
She ran? A lord?
Yeah, the lady was just a coward. She had a whole lot more bark than bite, that's for sure.
I can't even see his face because of the wing.
In a hole somewhere. But not for long. We'll find her and drag her right back into town. Then she'll get what's coming to her.
I wouldn't be so sure. She may run, but she'll never go quiet.
Shut up, Bright Eyes! I would have run you through already if you weren't with the blazing sword here.
The whole reason you're fighting is to free the Danans in this realm, is it not? If so,
Shut your
then...
mouth, witch! That's enough! If you're really fighting for us Danans, why keep these bastards around? Why haven't you killed them all?
I don't like where this conversation's going already.
These bastards.
Is that the case, huh? Then tell me the point of this show.
My friends.
They're my friends.
Renans are Renans. The scum-sucking bastards who've been draining our souls for 300 years now. But you knew that. Maybe it's 'cause you and the little lady are friends and more.
Ooh! Alright, I like Alfin a... Oh! With the greave on the arm. Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Son of a... You'll pay for that!
That's enough. Deadeye, You know that was completely uncalled for.
Oh, I like Alphen a lot more than I used
Get the
to.
hell out of my realm, and don't ever come back.
Your
This
realm?
is Tannin's realm, and it's ours. Understand? I call the shots here, and I make the rules. I do, Deadeye, leader of the Dark Wings!
Yeah! Deadeye! Liberator Deadeye! You are the true leader of this realm! We're not afraid of any Bright Eyes!
It's only a matter of time before I throw every last Bright Eye out of this realm!
The Dark Wings! The Dark Wings rule!
Wow, that was a pretty compelling scene for once. Like, wow, that guy really got on my nerves, and he got on Alphen's nerves too. So in 25 hours of gameplay, I have finally sympathized with Alphen one time. Just
Hey,
once.
wait up.
This guy seems decent,
Told
though.
you so, didn't I? You should have left your Renin pals outside.
You don't agree with him, do you? I could tell by the look on your face in there.
That's how things are with him. He loses his temper, then I step in and calm things down.
Better you than me.
If that's all, I think it's past time we were going.
Look, I just wanted to apologize for what Deadeye said in there.
At least somebody's got some manners around here.
He didn't used to be like that. But, well, that's what losing most of your loved ones will do to a man.
There's a typo in the subtext, or in the captions. It's supposed to be loved, not loved ones.
Distinguishable his manner is to that of a lord.
Hey, Bayfon? Deadeye mentioned the Lord is still on the run. Any ideas where she might be?
We looked all over, but found no traces of her. We heard some rumblings about activity in Estaluva Forest, but that's it.
Estaluva, huh?
Wait, you're not going after her, are you? Certainly won't win you any favors with Deadeye.
This isn't Deadeye's war, and we're certainly not fighting it for him. Besides, it's like Shion said, her type isn't going to go quietly.
Hey, it's your funeral. Don't say I didn't warn you.
We'll be sure to keep you out of it. Before we set out, though, is there anywhere around here we can rest?
Sure. Building at the end of the road, opposite side. It's all yours. We use it as temporary lodging, to house people who don't have a new place to live quite yet.
We're not going to run into any trouble there, are we?
Rumors of a certain fiery sword have spread fast. I doubt anyone will be eager to give you guys problems. And here's where I say my farewell. You're on your own, but good hunting.
Before you go, how come you don't hate the Renins as well?
Oh, believe me, I've got my bone to pick with the Renins. Just not with two of them I've never so much as laid eyes on before.
Ha, Rinwell's feeling bad.
Let's head on over to that lodge. We'll figure out what our next move is there.
Alright, so I guess we're...
Do you sense one of your friends, Hootle?
Alright, I'm gonna run and get some water and use the bathroom. I'm gonna be right back, and while I'm gone, I'm going to run some adverts. we're back in action. Alright, so we have some good old skits to watch.
I get the feeling Deadeye signed up to be a rebel, so he could have a rooster rule. Heck, he's no
His
better
reasoning
than
was
Lord. In
nefarious.
some ways, he's even worse.
I know. How could he use explosives on his own people?
And yet, despite the toll of his actions, none of the Danans we've seen seem to question his assumed authority.
A mass ruled by
If
fear.
anything, they may well consider him a hero, which would say a great deal toward how deeply they resented the Renans here.
Still, I don't think this is as simple as saying the good guys won out over the bad ones.
Yeah, I don't either. Deadeye might have managed to drive the Renans out of Niaz, but that doesn't make the way he did it okay. No matter which way you look at it.
A victory that's earned by throwing away the lives of his own people? No, that isn't a victory at all. I can understand that the Danans here are standing up against their oppression, but that doesn't mean they have to humiliate all Renans just to settle the score.
I'm perfectly able to stand up for myself, Alphen.
I
Besides,
feel
I'm
like
used to
Tales of
fighting.
Arise is 90%
shouldn't have
skits
to be
where
Shion.
people ball their fist up and get super emotional.
What I mean to say is, when you've been a slave for so long, it's easy to accept that's how it should be because it's all you've ever known. Constantly being belittled is no different. I don't think that's fair. For me or for you.
We got another skit. So while this is
I just
playing,
don't know, man.
Don't know what?
Deadeye managed to drive out a real live Renan Lord. That's incredible. And he seems to have a lot of supporters surrounding him too. But he's got an attitude worse than
anyone who's still watching, appreciate you in the chat. Feel free to drop a message. I promise I don't bite.
The Renans are powerful. And because of that, it takes a strong leader to have any hope of toppling them. However, when you take down one dictator,
My
only to
mic's a little
replace
too
them with
loud. I'm
another,
looking at the
ultimately, it's just
audio
business
mixer
as
in
usual.
OBS, and
If it'd been Zephyr
I'm
instead
talking
of
really
Deadeye,
low, but like
I don't think things would have turned out like this.
I'm like in the yellow, almost red.
Yeah, I think so too. Zephyr did things differently top to bottom. He's not the kind of person who would have forced his own views or decisions on other people.
He very much gave you the option to continue being a slave, Alphen.
Not leading them.
To be honest, I don't know what I would have wanted my dad to do if he was in that position.
Law.
The whole thing feels weird in a way. It's a weird kind of feeling, but at the same time, part of me also feels happy. Deadeye and my dad are two very different men. For now, I'm content knowing that.
Gosh, I hope so. Wow, another skit.
The city is liberated, and yet the air still hums with fear and anxiety. It reminds me all too well of how Vicente once was.
Hums? You mean like music?
Yeah, none of this sounds like music to my ears. In fact, I've never seen any Danans with musical instruments in my life.
You don't need instruments to play music. It can emerge naturally from the sounds of people going about their day and the hustle and bustle of life.
You seem to care a lot about music, Dohalim. I didn't know that about you.
Have I not mentioned it? Before I was a candidate for the lordship, I had my heart set on the life of a musician.
You? A musician?
Indeed, music enriches the world around us. I trained day and night to hone my art. Words could not describe my bliss, as my notes carried with them the sights and sounds of nature.
Wow, well, you certainly sound like a musician. Oh my goodness, will you stop talking? Dohalim, please.
Dohalim.
Forgive me. My loquaciousness can get the best of me at times.
Loquaciousness.
It's interesting hearing what Renan culture is like.
Even though the Renans destroyed all of our arts and culture.
Personally, I was interested in the music of
Loquaciousness.
Death.
I gotta look that up later.
The fact that generations of lords deemed music to be of no use to their slaves and outright forbade the ownership of instruments is lamentable. Not that my words can undo the damage already done.
Yeah, Dohalim, you sure are not helping. Oh, and it looks like you have a subquest for me.
What's wrong? All right.
Zoogle fight.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I get why you would do that in our world, but what's going on here to make... Okay. Okay, they got little handkerchiefs on their neck, maybe. That's like the uniform? And before I hit the inn, I want to grab that sub-quest over there.
You see anybody around here who could use our help?
We can't chase after every
Oh,
little
is this
thing.
the guy from the last area?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Wonder Bard.
I see.
Excuse me!
Good.
Oh, a fetch quest? Okay. This game sure loves giving us fetch quests.
cryptic text, all right. It could mean anything. Can't we just...
I mean, I don't think it could mean anything, Law, but...
Or something?
Hey! Maybe these are supposed to be different locations?
Huh.
Oh,
You think so?
you're into this too, huh?
Alright, so let's... do what the game wants us to do finally and check out the end. I'm sure this is gonna go completely smooth.
I see someone who looks troubled about something.
A little compassion can make all the difference. I propose we speak to them.
One of you has a envelope. There you are. Hey, nice haircut.
Oh, yeah.
That was really cool in middle school.
Right.
Hey!
Pick up some new subquests here and what is this region called again? Mahogsar. They said just don't cause trouble.
That Deadeye creep certainly has a few screws loose, that's for sure.
Forget that guy. Right now, we need to discuss how we're going to proceed.
What's there to discuss? Deadeye and his crew have already brought down the Lord here. Just let them finish her off.
I want to go after her.
I second that. I think it's the best thing to do right now. We don't know if the Darkwings have what it takes to beat her. I'm worried what'll happen if we leave her
Yeah,
to
this
her own
was a
devices.
little too easy.
You make a good point, Rinwell. And maybe I'm just being overconfident, but between us and them, I think we have a better chance at defeating her.
I have to agree. This realm isn't going to be truly safe as long as that Lord is still running around out there. We need to act.
Fine by me. But isn't Deadeye just gonna take all the credit once we're done?
Our job is to break down the walls that oppress Dana. What he chooses to build in their place, that's his problem. For now, we'll head to this Estaluva forest Bayfon told us about.
Oh, not another forest. I still have to revisit the first one in Menancia.
Barely stopped since Menancia.
That's true. This game does just kind of shove you along pace-wise, because... Oh, what's your deal, Shion?
Where are you going?
Alphen.
You should get some rest. What's got you up at this hour?
Just let me be for a minute, okay? Why don't you go back to the inn?
I will when you do.
I just noticed the text is a little different then the subtitles are different from the voice acting.
Shion. The Lord's days are numbered. I haven't forgotten our promise. You can trust me, you know. Maybe even lean on me a little, if you want.
And if I say I will you finally give it a rest?
Yeah, of course. Try to get some rest, okay?
What was all that about?
I promise, when I'm finished with this game, I'm gonna stream another Tales game, and it's going to be a better Tales game.
So
I
we're just going to check
promise.
things out, right? In whatever that forest is called.
Estaluva Forest. Next time, pay attention.
Okay, so the game, I'll come back for the owl. The game doesn't quite mark where we're supposed to go. Oh, there's something nice, sweet over here. Chicken. Can't go there. Is something even over here? I think this is the way to Estaluva, so this is the way we go. Oh, we finally get the little introduction to the realm. Alright.
Ah, got sand in my eyes.
The winds are strong here. Mind yourselves.
Ugh, even the inside of my mouth is all sandy.
Hootle, don't get blown away, okay?
What's the deal here?
The winds outside the capital are blowing as strongly as ever.
You can definitely see why people call this place the Valley of the Four Winds.
Indeed.
Actually, you really can't see it, Rin.
Just as Ganeth Heros is for water.
Earth, water, fire, wind, light, and darkness. Rena is aligned to darkness, leaving each realm one element each.
Is that because some elements are easier to gather in certain areas than others?
That is certainly possible, but I suspect the biggest reason is to prevent the lords from squabbling over resources.
Funny. You would think infighting would come naturally to an elite class vying for a crown.
True, but the Renans rule as a minority. Fighting ourselves would just be destructive. Though, as you saw in Menancia, any abstention from fighting is merely a facade.
In the end, you all get usurped whether you like it or not.
That may be true, but something tells me that this time is different.
We have to catch up to the Lord first if we want answers. Let's keep moving.
Alright.
What is that ring of rocks over there for? They don't look like they formed naturally to me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, excuse
I've gotten used to weird rock formations. They didn't even register as being out of the ordinary.
Most likely, they were brought over by us Renans when we first invaded the planet.
Wait,
When we
those?
first invaded
So
the
does that mean
planet.
there's some kind of machine then? And if so, what in the world were they even used for?
To manipulate the properties of Dana's astral energy.
Really?
Think about it. Isn't it strange that the type of energy each realm collects is so fixed? Astral energy by nature isn't meant to skew towards one element or another so heavily.
So the Renans reformed it for the crown contest.
Sounds like the crazy thing a Renan would do.
Oh my gosh, doesn't it?
Renans these days are more advanced than Danans in some ways, but even they don't seem capable of doing something on that grand a scale. Or is that something that's possible on Lenegis? Or maybe the Renan homeworld?
I can't claim to know everything about my own kind, but I myself have never seen anything that would be capable of such a drastic feat.
But at some point, they did just that. Those are the sort of people we're up against. We should do our best not to forget that.
You're so amazing, Kisara. You can cook, you can cook skins. I feel like there's
I haven't fought a single battle yet, I don't think. There's one waiting right in front of
You
me.
should take a page out of her book and learn to make yourself more useful then.
Wow.
I'd be happy to teach you if you want, Rinwell. I learned most everything I know from my brother.
Really? Even how to sew and do laundry?
Yes, indeed. He knew how to do anything.
Sounds like he was a pretty handy guy when he was alive.
He was. I'd always follow him around.
Did you have to say when he was alive, Alphen? You could have just said, sounds like he was a pretty handy guy.
Now that I think about it,
Period.
He and Legil were the ones who taught me how to raise cats, too.
I can tell you how to raise cats.
He was with him in the
I have
cats, right?
4.
I remember now. The one with the really pretty hair.
Funny you mention that. He also taught me how to maintain my hair. Not that those lessons stopped it from getting all tangled up during training.
I think it still looks gorgeous.
From what I can tell, it would appear as though the only thing he didn't manage to teach you was how to apply makeup.
No, but that didn't stop him from trying. He really wanted to teach me everything. Only reason he couldn't was because I prioritized my training.
As you should in a war-torn world.
I can't tell if she's being serious. The only one here who knows him well enough was her.
Yeah, I guess only Miguel could have told us if it's actually true.
Alright. So we can finally talk to this person.
Oh?
Yes! There is that you. I see.
Hey!
Oh, cool. We already have what we need for this. Get a new recipe.
Well?
What?
All right. No, really. Yes.
Vitamin smoothie.
Well, that was a huge miscalculation.
Yet you've drained your glass all the same.
And another skit.
Alphen, have you been washing your clothes? It may not be my place to say this, but frankly, they're starting to stink.
Ooh, she just told you.
Now that you mention it, it has been a while since I did any laundry.
I've never seen
I'll wash
any
them
of you
for
do
if you
laundry.
want. Just remember to give them to me the next time you get changed.
Oh, okay. Sure. Thanks, Kisara.
I don't know how to feel about that
Well,
line.
Yours are starting to look a bit ragged.
Mommy?
Expect? Of course they're going to tear up when we're out there fighting so much.
Yeah, but it's still kind of embarrassing having it pointed out like this.
And Shion?
I wouldn't touch me if I were you.
Of course. My apologies. All I wanted to say was that your sleeves are getting a little bit dirty.
And then Shion touches
You don't
Kisara.
worry so much, Kisara. It's only natural our clothes are gonna get a little dirty while we're traveling around.
That's no excuse. Your outward appearance says a lot about your inner well-being.
Their well-being. Good.
Now you've really
Gracious.
set her off.
Suffice to say, it would appear that the traditions of the Guard are still alive and well within her.
What do you mean? What do the guardsmen do that's so special?
Mostly, I'm simply referring to the fact that they're a very regimented and cleanly group of people.
Do I really sound that weird to you guys? Keeping your clothes clean and mended is completely normal to me.
Don't get us wrong. We appreciate the thought, Kisara. But we've got a long journey ahead. It wouldn't hurt to relax your standards. Just a little.
If you're sure. I wasn't trying to overdo it, I promise. However, if it's making the rest of you tense, I'll do my best to tone it down from here on out.
Yeah, you better.
Still, if everyone could bring their laundry and clothes they want fixed, that'd be great. I'll take care of it all for you guys tonight.
Don't you ever get tired?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Alright. Let's check these enemies out. Withered Wolf and Alpha Withered Wolf. So I've been controlling Kisara. Kisara's kind of tough.
Your reflexes will not serve you well here.
Tiger Blade! Annihilate! Go
trying to separate this one from the others. Oh, and by the way, you can just spam the heck out of Flaming Meteor. Don't I? Thought I hadn't. Oh, I guess. I don't know why I thought I had an aerial art on Kisara. There we go. Yeah, you know.
We could make the next time a little bit warmer.
Does it
Need
look
it.
like it comes with a thermostat?
I just realized they were talking about the little combo move there. But
Somehow, things are even worse outside the city than they are inside.
Yeah, it's all ruined. Houses and everything else.
Even if it was all in the name of beating the remnants, this is...
yeah, so we trying Kisara out. I didn't even realize he was down when I tried that. Part of the reason I wanted to control Kisara though is I was under the impression that only Dohalim and Xion got healing moves, but for anyone who's ever played Tales, Kisara literally has Guardian Field, and it's a like, it creates a little area that the way it's usually worked in Tales games is creates a little spot where it hurts enemies and heals your allies, but it only costs 8 cure points. You do have to use cure points to use it, but it's a nice way for me to kind of control the healing with the character that I'm controlling without focusing on healing necessarily. But it's just a nice heal that I can throw out with Kisara.
So that's how a lord fights.
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life!
I need to be stronger.
Alright, so there was an owl over here. And it's not up here. Owl went away. Oh, I hear you. Now it's to the right. There you are. I see you. Ooh, hoo, hoo. I'm guessing I got another pair of sunglasses to wear. This is a decent sized area.
This is what we were asked to get.
We're in for a long slog with this one. Tiger Blade! You want me? Come get me.
In a bind?
Tiger Blade! Flaming meat!
Got fire!
I shot! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours!
Flaming meteor!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Tiger Blade!
But yeah, Guardian Field's a really nice little healing
You're pretty fierce on your own.
Well, maybe, but I've still got a ways to go.
You're feistier than you look.
Can't change the future without getting your hands dirty. For now. But things could shift at a moment's notice.
You're right. Better stay alert.
one thing that's really cool about Kisara is her guard. Like, it's it's pretty tough. Like, you can guard bosses without getting broken, really. It's pretty sick. Like, you can
This could be useful.
really suck up a lot of the brunt of damage. Like if a boss goes into,
All right, but I'll decide how spicy it is.
like if you go up, if a boss goes into overlimit, you can just kind of get in their face with your guard up, and they can't do much to you. Like after you do that, like they can hit you and go through you, but like you never get knocked off balance. It's a nice little. It's nice how it is. I'm sure Rinwell is also very good, but I was trying to practice with her a little bit off stream, and like I have Tidal Wave with her. I just can't figure out how to use Tidal Wave. Like I did what the game told me to do, and I'm sure I'm just missing something. It's probably a user error, but we have a Tempestuous Mass.
Then let's keep pressing the attack.
Indeed. Remain ever vigilant.
Tiger Blade! Going in. One more. Elusive deity. Look sharp. Hitting pile driver. Now. More. I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life!
I think I'm getting stronger.
I hope we're not doing this for no reason. Like, that's kind of the idea of Rinwell's, to get stronger, you know? Did I look over here already? Yes, I did, because those little resource spots were over there. This leads us to a few different places. There's a campfire down there.
Judging by the stench, I'd say the animals at the ranch are all grown now.
He's right, so I'm gonna manage my ranch really quick. I didn't know in this era people ate horses. Let's check our, see what we can craft. So, oh, we can make this now, but that is worse than what we have. That's better, but this area is wind, so I don't know if that's actually worse to equip him with, but we're still gonna make it and equip it, and we can always change it. Yeah, so we probably have to play more into this area to be able to... We probably have to get further into this area to be able to forge those weapons.
What's up, Kisara? You look concerned.
Oh, no, it's just... I'm looking at our finances, and they seem to have taken a nosedive. I don't remember us making any big purchases, though.
Ah, that may be because I borrowed a small amount to purchase something the other day.
What do you consider to be a small amount, Dohalim?
More than half of our money, a small amount.
Half? Dohalim, what the hell did you buy?
As it so happens, I came upon a rather special object that I've long been searching for.
Are you talking about that junk? I mean, that unique-looking trinket you're holding?
Whoa, is that a...
Indeed. It is a lost artifact from ancient Dahnan times. Most likely, it was used for some sort of rite or ritual. Ever since we Renans conquered Dana, such objects have been disappearing. I simply want to do my part to help preserve both our people's storied histories.
Well, if it's to preserve Danan history, then I guess we can maybe look the other way. Just this once?
I don't know. Why spend money on something that won't even keep us fed?
More to the point, we all contribute to that money. I don't like the thought of anyone dipping into it without saying anything.
You must understand. Had I let that opportunity pass me by, I'd never have come across this item again.
You're not a lord anymore.
Maybe no one taught you that money doesn't grow on trees.
I may have been a lord, but I realize that much.
It's not enough to simply realize it. You have to internalize the concept too. Even after all this time, you still have no real sense of money. Our funds aren't your personal wallet. We camp outside and eat grass for dinner to try and stretch every last gold we have. You never know when we may need it.
I don't think we're so poor that we have to eat grass or anything.
Shut up, Alphen.
Oh.
Shutting.
Let's just agree to not spend too much or be too thrifty for our own good.
Alphen, your blazing sword draws its power from Shion's Firemaster core, right?
So I'm told.
Then why don't you use yours, Dohalim?
You mean my Earthmaster core, yes?
Yeah, I mean, you still carry it around with you, don't you?
I do. Each Master Core contains the astral energy harvested from Danan's slaves over the course of the last 3 centuries. Though only a select few qualified people, namely the Lords, can wield them, they nevertheless hold too much power to simply abandon.
If only the Lords are supposed to be able to use them, how come Alphen and Shion can use theirs?
That may be because Shion has embedded the Firemaster Core within her body, something which wouldn't have occurred under normal circumstances.
Okay, but why do you still carry yours around?
Just as Danans see Master Cores as symbols of the lives and resources robbed from them, so too do I view mine as a symbol of our lasting sins. The pain and agony wrought upon this world by my predecessors, as well as the injustice enabled by my own inaction, are all housed within my Master Core. It is a testament of all that I have done wrong. It cannot ever be used again, nor fall back into the wrong hands.
I mean, if you got it, might as well.
You didn't differentiate between the deaths of Danans and the deaths of Renans.
Danans and Renans both spill blood and languish in agony all the same. I just couldn't bear to hear it any longer. That's all.
Little late for that.
Yeah, and I don't think we've missed any of them. Gotta make sure we watch them all for that trophy, because I really don't want to play this game again, if I'm just being honest here. Need a mackerel to do that.
This is perfect! I'll have everybody...
Dohalim, care if I
I guess we'll talk to Dohalim, since enough time has passed for me to talk to someone.
You worried about what's going on with Menancia?
What makes you think that?
Well, you were speaking to Kisara earlier, weren't you?
It's rude to listen in on others, you know.
Sorry. I didn't hear what you two were actually talking about, though. I just figured it was Menancia since it was the two of you.
I am but a former lord who has abandoned his post. I'm no longer in a position to lead the realm in any capacity whatsoever. Yet Kisara still seeks out my opinions, knowing full well that is the case. This despite the fact I am no longer her master either.
Couldn't it be precisely because you're not her master anymore? It's natural for friends to want to hear each other's opinions.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call them friends yet. I mean, they just joined the same party.
Hardly
So,
uncommon among artistic types such as myself. When lordships are decided based solely on one's astral energy, it can lead to funny results.
But even so, you still took your job as Lord seriously, didn't you?
Certainly. I learned to perform my functions. However,
my
I was less
functions.
interested in ruling, so much as avoiding life and death decisions. Of course, such a mentality in the end led only to sickening pain and death taking place elsewhere out of sight. I pretended not to see or hear any of it, content to let our supposed peace and equality keep me blind and deaf to reality. I was a fool.
But you're making amends.
I would like to think so. The path ahead is dark, yet I still walk on. I merely pray that I shan't fall down any holes along the way.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
That I retire.
It's official. I think every character in this game gets on my nerves.
Shall we get going?
Alright, I'm gonna assume this is the way we're going. Yep, the game gave me a fast travel there. Esteluvea, is that where we're going? Esteluvea Woods or something? Alright. Well, looks like the right place. Forest. This does not look like any forest I've ever been in.
This place gives me the creeps. You really think that Lord is hiding out here?
Be careful. The air is dense with astral energy. Something's not quite right about this place.
How are you able to pick up on all this stuff anyway? Is it something that all astral arts wielders can do?
I must admit, I'm curious myself. Perhaps her Dahnan bloodline has something to do with it.
Dohalim.
Apologies. I meant no disrespect.
Stay alert, everyone.
That was pretty disrespectful there, Dohalim.
Here.
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard. I suppose if you're a lord going into hiding, a forest is one place to turn.
Alright. I need to use the bathroom, and I would like to... You climb the tower to rescue... Oh, okay. Bree, so you're... alright, so you're, at Rock Bouquet. You're at the Rock Bouquet fight. So... There's a couple ways to go about that scenario. Is your... Is your Emperor male or female? Because that actually makes a difference. So you already went to Ain Runep and then got to Rock Bouquet, right? The blue-haired woman. Okay, that's why. So, and you're in front of the Guardian, right? And she's blocking you. If I remember correctly, she's blocking you in. You can't leave. You can't leave that area. Because if I'm correct... Well, I know the male and female thing I'm about to mention is correct, because I've done it on stream more than once. But basically what you probably want to do is... So I don't know if... Yeah, you beat that, like, big... It's like a big flower type enemy. So... And then he talked to her, she asked you to do something for you. You guys go right over to the temple and the Stone Guardian. Stone Guardian's a hard fight. You're not really meant to be able to beat it at that point on a new game, just a regular new game. So if I were in your position playing Romancing Saga 2, I would... Okay, so you're gonna have to... This is really important. Fight the Stone Guardian and let yourself get killed. Fight the Stone Guardian, let your party get wiped. When you pick a new Emperor, pick a male Emperor. Pick a male Emperor, and the reason it's really important is because you want to pick a male Emperor, and the rest of your party members, you want them to be female. So you want a male Emperor, 4 female party members. To get her to fight you without doing the Guardian, you have to have a male Emperor. For the fight itself, you want the rest of your party members to be female. So let the Stone Guardian wipe you. Pick a male Emperor, recruit 4 females, gear up really good, because that's a pretty hard fight. It's not as hard as the Hive Queen in Ostro. I think that's a really hard, I think that's a bottleneck at the beginning of the game. But go ahead and get a male Emperor, 4 female characters, gear up, go back to the tower, get back to Rock Bouquet. When she asks you to help her, say no instead of yes. Because when you say no, she automatically, it triggers a fight with her. The reason you want 4 females is because she has a move that will charm your whole party. I know, it's super cryptic. There's nothing in the game that tells you to do that. And I mean, like, playing through casually, I've even gone to Rock Bouquet with a female Empress, like with an Empress on accident. I would not say an expert. I do appreciate the compliment, though. But you want a male Emperor, and just be ready for a real fight, because she's tough. You probably fought Bocone already, the puppeteer. He's pretty easy, but Rock Bouquet can be a tough fight. So yeah, like I said, just real important. Make sure your party members, besides the Emperor, are all female. You'll be able to fight her instead of going to the Stone Guardian. And spells. What's good against her? Have you been leveling axes? Because axes are gonna really load on the damage for Rock Bouquet. Because after you, I think she's got like 16,000 or something HP. 16 or maybe even 20, but after you do 10,000, she starts to regen 1,000 a turn. So that's a tough fight. Give me 1 second, Bree. I'll be right back. I just gotta go potty real quick. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. And Bree, if you're still there, the reason it is really important that every other character is a female is because during the rock bouquet fight, let me just figure out where I'm going. Okay. During the rock bouquet fight, there's a special condition in the fight where if the majority of your party members get charmed, if the majority of your members get charmed, just use your for rock bouquet, you should be fine on swords. Just use your highest damaging sword moves. Just be prepared for an endurance battle, because I think that's probably the first boss you fought with more than 10,000 HP. Bocone might have had more than that, but it's, yeah, you want to just as long as you can put the damage out, that's really important, because bosses in RS2 will kill you. Also, real important, during the fight, if the majority of your party gets charmed, fight's over. You automatically lose the fight, and she takes you to the temple, and you have to fight the Guardian. So better to bring 4 females, because the only person who can get charmed is your Emperor. Make sure someone has physic water to cure it, because fun story, during that fight I've had my Emperor charmed and he's wiped out my whole party, like with one like waterfowl, like a really, like just a target all move. So all right, so I guess this elevator's not working here. Elevator's offline, of course, and it'll probably be up and running when we come back. Peach gel. Female Crusader.
Hey, I think that might be what we're looking for.
Female Crusader. Oh, what's up? So you level up the magic by casting the spells in battle. I am unclear. No, wait, was I?
Everyone
okay, cool, we don't take fall damage. You gain magic experience, and I've always been unclear on this. I don't know if you just have to, whoa, boom. I don't know if you actually have to go through with the spell casting in battle, or if you could just click it, and then if someone else ends the fight, you still get the experience. But yeah, so every character who you teach, every character you have using magic, you want to have 3 schools of magic on everybody, because your MP is calculated by your magic levels. So if you're like your people using pyrology and your aerology, if you give them each 3 schools of magic, keep in mind you can't have pyro and hydro, and you can't have air and earth at the same time, but give everyone 3 schools. Even if you don't give them the spells, it just gives them more MP.
Yeah, if only I were a cat.
But yeah, you really just have to cast magic all the time, and the amount of MP you're using to cast spells, like if you cast a higher cost spell, you get more MP for your magic levels. Those tech points you get at the end of battle, there's some type of math equation that goes into it with there's some type of math equation with the tech points versus the amount of MP you spend on a school of magic. These guys are tough. Oh yeah, no, of course. You know, I love some Romancing Saga 2. Yeah, you're always welcome to stop in and ask questions. Here soon, I'm probably gonna start Romancing Saga 3, which that game I know nothing about. I've only I played a lot of Saga games, but as far as Romancing Saga, I've only played. I missed Chance for Mystic Art. I've only played Romancing Saga 2 as far as the Romancing Saga games. So when Minstrel Song comes out at the end of the year, that'll be on Twitch. Alright, come on. Come on. We're getting whooped. My damage has fallen off with Kisara now that we're in this new area. Cool. Got it. Alright.
Good to know my training is paying off.
So... what was that? I don't want to fight all these enemies at once, so I'm gonna... okay, cool. And then we can take on the big guy separately. Well, hey, Bree, while you're here, you ever play any of the Tales games? Alright. Gosh, Kisara really does not do any damage. So this is Tales of Arise. I'll be the first to say this is not my favorite entry in this series. Actually, this is probably shaping up to be my least favorite. This game came out last September. I mildly recommend this game. This is a really good entry for if you haven't played the Tales games, this is a really good entry to start with, I would say. But gosh, I just I can't say I'm a fan of this one. I'm playing it, I'm probably gonna finish it, but I don't recommend it that much. 8,500 gold, that's a nice pickup. Couch the... huh. So, was the Lord hiding here? It's got me thinking what Tales game I would want to play later on after this. I've played Xillia. I've beaten Xillia. I've beaten Xillia 100%. But I haven't played Tales of Graces. That's a game on my list. I actually really want to play that. I just kind of gotta figure out the logistics of streaming from a PlayStation 3. All right. Surface, B3, and B4. Okay, so we can go down a little further. Let's go down a little further. But this one's alright though. If I hadn't played other Tales games before this, I'd really like this game, but it's not, because it's not my first. I'm kind of comparing it to other games pretty regularly.
For the hideout of a runaway lord, this place is a lot bigger than I was expecting.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think she had it built
Actually,
with that
Tales
in
of
mind?
Symphonia is probably my favorite in the series.
Personally, I think this used to be
Vesperia is
part of a
great too.
castle or fortress of some sort.
How can you tell?
But yeah, this is the
For one
newest
thing,
of
it
the
doesn't look like a
franchise.
storehouse. For another, it's old, and you can tell it was built to let people hole up inside of it.
Huh. I'll take your word for it. I don't know the first thing about brick. You know, I've always thought you were a smart little cookie, but damn, Rinwell, you really know your stuff.
It's no big deal. I've just read a lot of books is all.
If this is meant to be a castle, there wasn't much to it above ground. Are there such things as underground castles?
There probably used to be more of it above ground. That is, until 300 years
Like
ago.
I don't know. The characters in this game, by the way, I have them all in funky costumes. They don't actually look like this, but
And then this lord decided to use it for her own purposes. Have I got that right?
I don't know. I hate the characters in this game. I actually,
reason could she have for
the
using
girl with the
this
sunglasses,
instead of
Kisara,
staying
she's
back in her
alright.
own
I like
castle?
her, but everyone else is so unlikable.
Whatever it is, she's up to no
They just
good.
have bad qualities.
It's all the more reason
It-
we need to hurry up and find her.
There are
before
other
it's too
Tales
late.
games that are much less in depth than this one, and like the characters are less in depth, but they're just kind of better. All right, let's take care of these. Just two tempestuous masses. Tempestuous mass.
I won't forgive you.
Excuse me. Kisara is really slow though.
A lord's power never ceases to amaze me.
I'm as regular as the next man.
Yeah, the next man who used to be a lord.
So that's how a lord fights.
I don't perform as well when I'm observed.
I'm going to pretend like
Here we go.
Radiant Genesis!
You know, for someone who hates the Renin so much, Rinwell is really...
Darkness, pierced by light.
I call it the Rindar Special.
This place goes pretty deep underground.
It was probably built that way so it could still be used even if the above ground portion got destroyed.
Perhaps that's why it's still here, and why it was made into her hideout. It would certainly stand to reason.
So... we're kind of getting whooped, so... Back to the... back to the standard party here. Double Demon Fang. Eternal Devastation. I like Lightning Thrust in that spot, then... Luna Rondo. Try that out. And we get a whole other set of arts. Megasonic Thrust. Do Severing Wind, and... well, yeah. Dragon Swarm. Oh, and then we get a whole other set of aerial arts. So we'll go Mirage, Stardust, and I guess Rising Falcon in both triangle slots. Probably is just a smart way to allocate. I don't want to fight all 5 of you at once. Split up. Come after me. Cool. So we can fight a group of 2 and a group of 3.
I'll show you how useful I can be! I'm ready! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger!
We're starting to take all that damage again.
Barely a blip on our radar.
Oh, I still got all 3 of them. That's alright. That's alright. We're gonna make it work.
It's over! It's almost too strong! Be my guest! You're mine! You're finished!
Glacial Spear! Let's get you off my
Too fast! Stand back. I'll trip it up. Can't get out of this!
Be still!
Now!
Rising Sun!
Frozen!
Hammer!
Well then, let's keep moving.
Hopefully it gets more of those ingredients to cook the good food. You know, the good food, the one where we heal after every battle. That's the good food.
Full of weird machinery, old and new.
How would you know what old machinery is? You were a slave, Alphin.
Sort of
You were sheltered from this kind of thing. Protect ring, cool.
Even to other Renans? That's a scary thought.
Hyperbolic chambers. There's one more corridor to check. I'm gonna try to split this group of enemies up if I can. Yep. Just make life a little easier on us.
Remind me to stay on your good side.
I'm ready!
I'm ready for the next battle. Hi, Hoodle!
Eternal devastation! Turbo Demon Fang! Eternal devastation!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
It's over! Turbo Demon Fang! Lightning Thrust! Strike! Luna Rondo!
Can you take it?
I'm ready!
Nice.
To action!
Alright. Got hung up there. Alright.
Hold up. Is this as valuable as I think it is?
Gotta go check our livestock when we get to the next merchant. I mean, we could always just go do it whenever, but...
What's this thing?
This way. Okay, so I guess we turn the generator on B3 to get to B4. Would make sense. Oh, B1. We were at B4, that took us to B3. Now we want to go to B1. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, I'm dumb. Cool.
It would appear we can descend down where the railing has fallen apart.
What? Are you serious?
By all appearances, it would seem she was researching something here.
You think so? What kind of research could she have been doing in a place like this?
Your guess is as good as mine. Hardly anything the likes of us could imagine. Indeed. Renan castles and spirit vessels are often found in such locations. Intriguingly, Dahnan ruins are also known for their abundant energy.
You Renans attacked us. Don't act like you're just some...
Sheesh, enough already. This isn't the place to pick a fight over this.
How can you be so calm listening to all of this? You suffered at the hands of guys like him too.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm calm.
I wouldn't either. Got more of those rolly guys over here. Hey, Cristamadillo. Cristamadillo.
No armor can stop me!
Remind me to stay on your good side.
Here I come! This one's all mine! You're mine!
I try. Okay, I've had this problem with some Tales games. I try to use a character that is like not the main character, and they just feel terrible compared to the main. Like Kisara felt fine when I was at previous areas, but like when you're in a new spot, Alphen just feels nuts. So we want to check out all 4 of these corridors. We're splitting this group up. Cool, we got the armadillos. We'll take those berserkers out in another.
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! You don't mess around.
Certainly not. Double demon fang! Resonate with the rising fire! Double demon fang! Here I come! Crush! Here I come! You're finished! Here I come! It's over! I'm ready!
Oh, what's kind of cool is like, if you get them to the right elevation with Lunar Rondo, you can kind of keep them in the air, let your allies buffer some moves, because, wow, the AI in this game is so useless.
Barely target practice. Then why bother fighting them?
Rioter Claw, that's what they're called. Rioter Claw. Hey, Shion, you want to heal Rinwell? Thanks. Oh.
Let's talking more doing.
Our superiority was undeniable.
It feels invigorating to dominate a battle.
I was certain I saw you yawn.
Oh, now, I'm certainly not that relaxed.
Yeah, I think all these corridors are going to have is just a single chest or treasure apiece. So...
We should think about eating soon.
Really? Not all that hungry myself.
Don't make me...
Oh, I didn't want to... Oh, we should be fine. What you talking about? Talking about me there? Totally. Hopefully that hits more than just him, because... Oh.
Get toasty!
Burn strike! Double demon coming through! Ha!
cool. We got the boost attack and the we got the boost attack there and the Mystic Art.
With this, I can become even stronger.
Get another chest over here. Nice. Magical tunic. Who's that for? Since Xion said something, I'm gonna assume it's for Xion. Yep.
Handy.
Anything else valuable? Probably not. Almedra. It doesn't appear she put anything too valuable here. Except for like the 10,000 gold I found here. Yeah, I got. Oh, actually, I only got one of the crystal armadillos. Yeah, it's funny because, like, this is the first Tales game where when I look at just information about the game, everyone always suggests, oh, just use the same move over and over again. Tales games have always had diminishing returns on arts, and this is the first game I've never played Berseria, so I don't know if they mention it there. This is the first Tales game I've ever played where they mention that the game has diminishing returns on arts if you keep using the same one. This just happens to be the first one that does it, like tells you about it, and is also the game with the least margin in diminishing returns on arts. So no, you're really not meant to be able to beat him at that point. Like, even when I was playing on a New Game Plus, I would have had a really hard time, because he doesn't take much damage, and even when you're really strong, he doesn't take a lot of damage. It's meant to just be a really hard fight. So we're on B1. Clearly we have not been down here. This is B2. Okay, so that's where we're supposed to go. It's a game you can get burned out on, and you know something? Like, when I've had people ask me, now don't forget, she's a really hard fight still. Not as hard as that Stone Guardian. This one's, Rock Bouquet fight's actually feasible. When I recommend Romancing Saga 2 to people, I always tell them, you know, get it on sale, because it's really, the Saga franchise is not for everybody. You know, but in like, I played the
that astral energy was incredible.
I gave it everything I had.
Yeah, don't be afraid to try to, especially at that point, that's when you're kind of at a point where you want to start fighting a few more battles. Kind of grind your party up a little bit, get stronger for... Yeah, and I caught Romancing Saga 3 on sale for playing it on stream. I have to learn that game. I have to learn RS3. Luckily, a lot of things transfer well between Saga games. Luckily, things translate pretty well, but It's still pretty different. Like, obviously, that one's not a generational game. You pick from 8 protagonists at the start. Is that really all that's in here? Is just generator? But, you know, just like, don't sweat it too much. Like, believe me when I say that game was not designed for people to get it on the first try. Oh, and y'all are split up a little bit. Let's take on 3 and 2 instead of 5.
I won't forgive you.
I shall ensure you survive this.
You're finished! Flying free? What can they just sit still?
Seal, can you take care of them?
In an instant! Impact blow! We work well.
Yeah.
Like a finely timed walk.
I'll face you. Can't get out of this. I'm ready. Totally. In an instant.
Comboing this game is a lot easier than past Tales games, though. I will give it that. Good golly gosh.
Done here. Let's move.
Yeah. Then we fight the other 2 tempestuous masses. I keep calling temptuous. They're not tempting me. That's Rock Bouquet. She's the temptress.
Say no more.
Well done.
An astral art?
That's my cue.
Shut him down.
I'm practically unstoppable.
Ooh. Got a nice little neck crack.
What's this?
Red verbena. That's what it is, Alvin. And let's go this way. What do we have here? Follow me.
Mahag Sar.
Yeah. This is a little trick I've kind of picked up on. So this game's really hard, like, just difficulty-wise. So it's a little trick I picked up on where I kind of force the enemy encounters to split up a little bit. Force the enemies to split up, so make the fights a little easier, make it a little more manageable.
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more power.
Cut them apart to your heart content.
Astral energy.
Say no more. Shut.
Well done.
Here I come. I'm ready.
Up and at 'em.
Nice.
I'm practically unstoppable.
And then we can take this guy on, no problem. He's easy. By himself.
Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis.
Cool.
We're in good form.
Yeah, so have you unlocked the privateer, like the pirate? Can you go to Nuo? I can't pronounce it too well. That's the place I'm referring to. Can you go there and recruit a privateer? Because that is the best axe user in the game. You can use someone else. Just look at their... I think the icon is a hammer. Check their axe level. See how they are. Just get a character with a decent axe level. Someone you can recruit will start with one. The female nomad in the nomad village starts with axe levels. Save before you recruit her, but everyone I've ever recruited has axe levels. That's a pretty good axe user. And yes, I would absolutely recommend... you don't have to spend a few hours, just spam attacks in random battles with your axe user to try to get them to spark new moves with the axe. You're looking for yo-yo, reverse delta. Those are like the crazy damage dealing those are like the crazy damage dealing moves. Reverse delta and yo-yo. If you go on my channel and watch like the last couple Romancing Saga videos I posted, it literally is just my... Oh, I'm gonna make a hard save. I think we have a boss coming up here. But if you see those videos, literally all the random battles are me just holding down the X button and spamming yo-yo. Because that move and that move and reverse delta are really broken. They don't calculate off of strength. Yeah, so that's another hero scenario. You, so to unlock the tactician, you have to unlock the university at Avalon. You have to unlock the university and take the test. And you can find the test question answers on Google. Check with the Chancellor in Avalon. He's in the room next to the guy who tells you how many battles you fought. If he mentions it, just do that scenario and
it's been nothing but Zeugles. No lords,
go in the university, go to the top right room, talk to a red version of your Chancellor, and he's going to give you a test. Take that test, and then you can recruit the tactician.
If anyone was here, they're long gone now.
That can't be.
Look out!
A Zeugle.
We'll figure this out later. Right now, this thing needs dealing with.
But yeah, you got to talk to that red guy in there to take the test.
I don't understand. Did Bayfon lie?
He didn't seem the type to lead us on a wild goose chase.
Hey, save your questions until after we manage to finish this thing. Exploit the enemy's weakness.
I don't see his weakness. Alright, we gotta just lay the damage on him here. Oh, he's got a weak spot. I just found it. Yes, 100%. If you haven't done the step yet, go get the tactician and do the do that first, because that's a lot easier. It'll give you a chance to get stronger before Rock Bouquet, because that's a much harder fight than Bocone. Well, take a break from it if you have to. Game's not going anywhere, but you know, the most important thing, because I get like that sometimes too, is you want to just make sure that you are still enjoying the game. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I am always down to talk about Romancing Saga too, so whenever I'm live, feel free to drop by and ask questions. Even if I'm playing something else, I'll gladly answer. Ooh, I'm getting real close to... Because I have that problem. I'll play a game to the point where I hate it. Ooh, okay, core break. We're good, we're halfway there. Even on easier difficulties, this game, the boss fights can be brutal, especially because your AI companions are just awful. Alright, drop this peach gel, and then we go to town with Alphen. Alright, whoop this boss.
Amazing.
Beach on Rinwell. We gotta keep it going. I'm gonna use all these peach shells during this fight. Alphen, heal yourself. Plus, okay, I feel like I can't even see anything. The combat area in this game is just so small. There we go, we got him, this is it.
Another incantation ruined. Lightning thrust. Don't negative
And let's heal Dohalim just to make sure he gets experience for this fight. Oh, call it. We're almost there.
Now see that you don't get in trouble again.
It's over. Lightning orb.
There we go. Got it. I'm not gonna say it anymore because the fact is, every boss fight in this game, I use way too many items every single time. So, but we're good. We got it. It wasn't like the Dohalim fight where I came back 2 weeks later. Alright.
So much for finding the Lord. Come on, let's get back to Niaz.
Shion, calm down. This isn't like you. What's wrong? Talk to me.
It's none of your concern.
Kind of
Even
is.
After everything we've been through together?
The two of us are only helping each other because our interests overlap. Remember?
Are you serious? You helped me come to terms with Zephyr's death. You put your life on the line to save me. Don't tell me you did all that out of necessity. That it was only because we
Hat
have
was
a
getting
common
way
goal.
too hot to wear.
Fine.
Huh?
You don't want to answer? Then I'll do whatever I like from now on, too. Clearly, I'm just bothering you. So it doesn't matter if you tell me what's on your mind.
Jeez, Alf,
But that
insensitive
doesn't mean
much.
I'm going to stop looking out for you. Not now, not ever.
My friends! I hate this trope. Oh, dude, we just fought.
Not fair.
Are you actually going to tell us what's going
Why
on?
can't you just leave me alone? You don't know the first thing about me.
But
True.
I do.
But I bet you're going to tell us.
I know you care about the pain of others. You care, Shion. That's why I want to help.
Because of my thorns, I thought I had been doomed to a life of solitude.
Have you always
the
been like
day I
that? We
died,
don't know. How am I supposed to
knew I would be alone.
sympathize?
And now?
The truth is, I'm trying to end my curse and get rid of my thorns.
25 hours into the
Get
game, and she
rid
finally
of-
tells us.
There's a way to do that? Really?
I'm not completely sure. All I know is there's a chance. But that's the reason I need the Renis Alma.
The Renis Alma?
What is the Renis Alma? You're going to tell
the
us.
Master Core to end all Master Cores. It is bestowed upon the winner of the crown contest, the new sovereign, as proof of their victory. It must be assembled from all 5 Master Cores.
That's why taking down the Lords is so important to you. But Shion, you're not in this alone. If there's a chance we can rid you of your thorns, I'll be by your side the whole way.
Oh, kitty has
That
claws.
includes us, right?
I guess, Law.
Like it or not, you're going to have to get used to relying on us every now and then.
What kind of friends would we be otherwise?
Did Dohalim just say the F word?
Thank you.
Dahnan Liberation and the Renis Alma. Looks like we've got our work cut out for us. If we have any hope of finding this Lord and their Master Core, we start by heading back to Nias.
Man, who would have thought we'd ever get thanked by Shion?
Sounds like someone wants me to grab their arm.
Okay, don't.
I'm joking! Damn, you're scary sometimes.
Shion's not scary at all.
Alphen. I can't believe this. To think they would give us a bad lead like that. Where could that Lord actually be?
Beats me. That said, there's no point wandering around aimlessly trying to look for her. We should head back to Nias for now.
What's wrong, Kisara?
Oh, I was just thinking about what it meant for there to be castles here on Dana. People build castles to protect things that are important for one reason or another. But not simply that. They're also used to project a ruler's power.
So what you're saying is, even before the Renans invaded, the Danans were still being ruled over. It was just by other Danans.
That's most likely the case, yeah. Though who knows how they led their people.
But after seeing Deadeye, I can't picture them being all that benevolent themselves.
What if it's in everyone's nature to rule over and control others? What are we supposed to do about that?
Them are the real questions,
Victory is in
Kisara.
our nature. Then no. All that means is we have all the more reason to fight it. That's all there is to it.
Can we fast travel out of here? I'm gonna take... Oh, we can. Well, that being said, we got an area done, beat a boss, and I think it's about my bedtime, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up here for tonight. But everyone who tuned into my first stream as a Twitch affiliate, thank you so much. And don't worry, only good things come from here. I promise. But yeah, I think that about does me for tonight. So, you know what I like to say. If you like Tales of Arise, if you like Can't Sprint JRPG, be sure to follow me on Twitch. Maybe drop a subscribe if you like the content. You can buy me coffee. Got this nice little button here, so you can buy me coffee. But yeah, that's all for tonight. Catch me next time. Till then, everyone, have a good night.